Here's a quick tutorial on how to set up a new customer using One Stop Portal. When you first log in, the rep or the tech will see their statistics. Then you would go to the customers page. From here, you can add a new customer in. You put in the customer information. There, as you can see, I put in the customer's name, phone number, and address. And then you select which products you're using. For this account, they have access control, CCTV, home automation, IP camera, landline, PERS, and alarm. But let's say for this particular job, they're just going to use home automation, an IP camera, and an alarm system. Next thing you do is you select a funding source. Let's say Dynamark. Then you run the credit. Now you have to select the credit bureau. So you would select, say, Equifax. I believe that's who they use over there at Dynamark. Then I would click Run Credit, and it would give me the credit report, and it would put the score right in here for the credit score. So let's pretend like I just ran the credit and got an 800 score. It put it in for me. Next, I would come down here to the bottom, and I would hit Finish. Oh, it looks like there's an error. You must specify the salesman first. Okay, so let's go see who we want for the salesman. Let's say Clayton Bigsby. And now we click Finish. And it comes here, it creates the account and brings me to the customer account. So this first page is just basically the same information as when I ran the credit. Now I can put in a couple more pieces of information. Let's say I'm going to need the customer's email, obviously for the DocuSign. From here, I go ahead and hit Save and Next. I can hit Save to save and stay on the same page, or Save and Next to save and go to the next tab, which is Billing Info. From here, I select if it's going to be invoice, paper, email, or automatic clearinghouse, or credit card. For this one, let's say that we collected a credit card information. So I tell it the card type, Visa, tell it the name on the card, then I put in the credit card number. Then I tell it the expiration date. Then I put in the RMR for the customer. Next thing I do, I have to put in the billing day of the month. That'll show up on the e-signature. Let's say we're going to bill on the 5th day of each month. Save and Next to go to the next tab. Now I put in the emergency contacts. Contact name, phone number, type, and then relationship. After putting in the emergency contacts, I'm going to go ahead and hit Save and Next to go to the next tab. Now I select the monitor type. I have lots to choose from. Anything that starts with ADC is an alarm.com plan. Anything that starts with AlarmNet obviously is an AlarmNet. SN is SecureNet, and then TelGuard, Uplink, Telit. We have a bunch of different options for you to choose from. Let's say in this example that it's an alarm.com plan. And if you want to put in the installer code just for safe record keeping, you can. You don't have to. Next thing you can do is you can click Assign CSID, and it will create the customer CSID from the account numbers that you have saved in a pool, and it will assign the next one. There, as you can see, it assigned the CSID and it gave me the receiver phone number for the CSID. All I had to do was set that up one time, and then I just click Assign CSID on each one, and it gives me the next one. Now the next thing I'm going to do is put in the last 10 digits of the serial number or the alarm.com number on the radio. There we go. Now I'm going to click Modify Add-ons. And I'm going to tell it, let's say that we're doing Z-Wave lights, locks, and thermostats on this one. There, it assigns those. And then I would click Create in ADC right here. And it's going to create the alarm.com account and put in the alarm.com customer ID here. Let's see it. Next. Now it's time to do some inventory tracking. Let's say that the technician who's going to be doing this install is Rick James. So we're going to do Rick's car. It looks like all he has in stock is a AAA battery and a transformer. Now that's a problem because it should show other equipment. The reason why it doesn't is because I forgot to put in the panel type over here on the miscellaneous info tab. I needed to put in that this was a 2 gig Go control panel, for example. And on this page, I also forgot to put in who the technician was, of Rick James. And then the funding source is Dynamark, central station is Dynamark, alarm contract length, 36 months or 60 months or whatever you're going to do. Any alarm install fees, that'll calculate when the contract ends and the notice of cancellation deadline. You can put in if there's a buyout owed or if there's a previous alarm company and who it is, if there's a protection plan selected. You can also send the install information to the technician and schedule the technician with our scheduler. But back to where we were, and now you can see that it has the equipment in here. So for example, it put in the 2 gig stuff. It left out all of the General Electric stuff, DSC stuff, anything like that, because it's a 2 gig panel. So it filters out the equipment that isn't going to be relevant to the job to make your job a little bit easier. So the sales rep is going to come in here and put what he offered when he gets to the job. Let's say he says 2 gig and a cell unit and a carbon and 2 motions and a medical panic and a smoke. Obviously there should be a lot of other equipment. This is all that's in stock for this technician. So obviously there should be doors and other pieces of equipment too. But anyways, the sales rep puts in what he is offering to the customer. And when the technician gets back to the job, when he comes in here and says, okay, this is coming out of my car, then he can come and tell what he installed. Let's say that he's installing this, 2 of that, 1 of that, but he's also putting in 4 AAA batteries into the sensors. So he's going to save that. It's obviously going to be a little bit different. And you can audit these. You can see that offered points was 14, the installed points was 14.04 because of those batteries. So that's going to create a mismatch for him, but you can always overlook that because of the fact that it was just a battery. But anyways, it pulls the inventory out of the technician's truck and puts it into the customer's house, so it tracks your inventory for you as well. Next page is the zones tab. From here, you can tell it the zones. So for example, let's say front door, back door, garage door, and so on. But what's easier is if you've already created an account with alarm.com, then you click Get Zones, and it's going to automatically go connect to the control panel, get the zone list, and type them in here for you so that you don't have to. Let's see how that works. And there you can see it took the zone list and it put in a bunch of zones here for us automatically. Now this is really helpful when you have those accounts where there's 50 or 60 zones. You run across those sometimes and it takes you half an hour to type in the zone list, or it can take you 1 or 2 seconds to just click Get Zones and it populates it in there for you. Next tab let's go to would be the Signals tab. You can place accounts in test mode when you need to run signals. Let's say I want to place this account in test for 60 minutes. Place in test. And now the account would be in test mode for the next 60 minutes. Next thing I can do is I can display alarm history. If I click display, it would do some alarm history, but this isn't a real account. This is just a dummy account, so there's no actual alarm history, but it would show the full alarm history here. So then when you're done with an account and you need to go back to the Zones tab to activate the account with Central Station, you come here, you click Request Activation, and it wants me to put in at least 1 zone. So now I'd be able to click Request Activation, and it would say activation request has been sent to Central Station. So it goes in and automatically activates the account in Central Station and gets it online and being monitored for you. So that makes it pretty simple for you. Next thing you would do would be the DocuSign. Obviously you would probably do this before the technician does the install because it would be the sales rep generally doing this. You can come in here and you can say sign locally rep. Oh, please enter a contract length. It looks like there's some pieces of information missing. But anyways, I would click sign locally rep, and it would bring up the document for me to be able to sign it. And then I would click finish and then OK. And then it brings me back to here. Then I do sign locally customer, and it would pull up the contract again for the customer to sign it. And then you click finish and OK, and then the e-signature is done. The other option you can do is send emails. If I click send emails, then I would be able to click a button and it would send a copy to the sales rep to sign. Once he signs, it sends a copy to the customer to sign, and then the e-signature is done. So you have two options: send emails or sign locally rep then customer. So those are your options with e-signature. And if, let's say, you forgot to run the credit before you created the customer, you can always run it here. Or if you needed to run it again, or you got a no hit and now you got the social, so you can try it again, whatever your situation may be, you come in here, select the bureau, click run credit, and then it will run the credit and return to you the report and the score. And those are the gist of the install process for Dynamark. So it's very simple to use, very user-friendly, and we think this will help you run your business.